peeps, happy Monday. Welcome back to the sewing room. I had my first live hangout in the new space and it went really well. Apparently the picture quality was super clear, which was great, and we didn't have any dropping out of signal, which was brilliant. That bodes well, and hopefully there will be many more Sunday hangouts coming up. I have finished my Decades of Style Empire waist trouser muslin. I don't know if I like them. After all that work getting them to fit, I don't know if I like them. I'm not going to show you guys because, as I say, I've made it out of this calico, which is basically see-through, and I'm sorry, I'm not putting myself on the internet in my underwear. It's not happening. So I'm going to get Mum's opinion when she comes down a bit later and see what she thinks. Now that I've got to the point where I've perfected the fit, I probably will make a pair up in a fabric to see what they look like. But I'm not sure. We'll see. They could be amazing. It could be just the calico that's throwing me off, because you do have to have some imagination to see past that, and it's much stiffer than the fabrics that I want to use for those trousers. So we'll see. We'll see. I am in the middle of making up the second set of the 9257s. As you guys know, I've cut them at short length this time because I know that the length is good on me. I just needed to get the hips to fit me. So I am sewing in the pockets and I'm just about to start work on my second fly front zip. Fun times. It's actually a really minimal construction. It doesn't have a fly guard at the back, and yeah, once you've memorized which is the right and wrong side of the fabric on the illustrations, I found the illustration in the, I'm looking at the instructions here, I found the instructions very clear, but you have to get your head around which is the right side and wrong side of the fabric, and when you're also working with a fabric with no right and wrong side, it can be a little bit like yeah. So my second fly zip is going to go in any minute now. I really hope these come out okay. I think they will. Again, I'm not sure that I actually am going to like the style with the pleats over the front. I don't know. My Dorothy Perkins trousers that I traced the jumpsuit that I traced the pattern from and made loads of pairs of those trousers had pleats at the front, but then I had a much smaller stomach at that point, and I don't know if this is now highlighting that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm determined to find a pair of trousers that I love. It's going to happen. So I'm going to make this muslin up, and then I am done with all the sewing that I've cut out except for the 8013 from Simplicity, and there's no putting that off anymore. It doesn't matter if it's slippery fabric, it needs to be made. So fun times. It'll be fine. It will be totally fine. It will be. I know. I'm just not looking forward to it. It's going to be a beautiful dress when I'm finished, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm going to get on with this muslin, get my fly front in, get the side seam sewn up, put the waistband on and try these on again, and I hope that they fit better over my hips this time around. We shall see.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I have finished my second muslin for the 9257s. I really like it. This fabric has no drape, and I need to remember that because these are super wide legged, and the denim that I'm going to be using is light enough that it has a nice drape to it. When I sewed this one up, I didn't sew the pleats down at the front because you're meant to have basted them down and then unpicked them. I kind of like them now that I have more room in the hips, which my full hip adjustment did work. I actually kind of like the pleats at the front, although I'm not ruling out sewing them down on the final one. I may base them into place, see how I feel, and before I sew them permanently. But yeah, this has worked out really well, so that's good. So I now have two trouser patterns that technically fit me. I don't know if they suit me, but they technically fit me. So when I do my next cutting out session, which won't be too long away, I can cut into the denim fabric. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do both of these trousers in denim. I don't know. The other fabric I've got is a turquoise needle cord and a purple crepe. I'm thinking these might actually look better in the purple crepe, possibly. I don't know. I think I prefer these to the Empire waist trousers though, so I definitely want a pair of trousers in my wardrobe made from a denim fabric that I love and that I want to put on. So I think I'm going to make these in the denim, and then I will try the... Oh, I've got another needle cord, a purple needle cord. I could use that for the Decades of Style trousers and see how I feel about those. Yes, that's the way forward. That's what I'm going to do. I need to unpick the zip from this because it's going to be the zip I use in my final trousers, and I did sew it in with a long stitch length, so it should be easy to unpick. Yeah, I'm going to start work on the Simplicity 8013, which, as I've mentioned quite a few times, I am not looking forward to working with that fabric, but it will be a very beautiful dress when I'm finished. So it's just one of those things I'm just going to have to suck it up and get on with it. So that's the next plan. As predicted, this is not a bunch of fun to work with, but I have 2 completed sleeves and I have sewn in the darts to the back pieces of the bodice. Now I need to start working on the front. Okay, I have a bodice. Well, majority of a bodice. I can't do the gathers and stuff on the skirt until the on the waistline until the skirt is put in. So I'm going to start sewing that together now. Fun times. I definitely won that game of bobbin roulette. Yeah. I've got the skirt lining sewn together with the first pass of the French seams, but I'm going to call it a night now because it's 9:30, so I'm going to go and sit with Chi. Hey peeps, happy Tuesday. Crazy fringe. Oh yes. Dad and our very lovely handyman Vaughan have been busy down here today. We have doors on the bookcases, which are awesome, and we also have our TV, which is very, very cool, although the fire stick doesn't fit in the TV at the moment because of the positioning of the socket for it. So we've had to order an extension lead for it. Words are hard. Yes, we've had to order an extension lead to get the fire stick to work. So at the moment the TV is just a big black thing on the wall, but yes, when the fire stick arrives, I will be able to have Friends on in the background whilst I'm down here, which is awesome. Also, we found and have brought down my Tassimo, technically coffee maker, but as you can see, I think here, hot chocolates, because I don't like coffee and Mum doesn't like coffee, but they do fruit tea and they do hot chocolates in this particular model. So we're gonna have a little drink station, which is good. We've decided we can't have normal tea because there's nowhere to put milk, so we'd have to either remember to bring milk down with us or go and get milk, which kind of negates the point of having a little drink station down here. Dress is coming along nicely. The waistline is not finished as yet because there's gathering that excuse me, there's gathering that needs to be put into it to get it to fit into the skirt waistline, which is going to be interesting actually because the skirt waistline needs to be gathered as well. So how am I supposed to work out? I think there might be, I think there are notches and stuff that have to meet up, but yeah, interesting. I haven't got that far in the instructions yet. But yeah, I'm really liking how it's turned out so far. This fabric is not the nicest stuff to work with, as predicted. It's slippery, shifty chiffon, polyester, and yeah, definitely not fun to work with, but it's going to look really pretty when it's finished. The rose skin, again, this is a polyester lining fabric that I got from the fabric room. It feels really nice at the moment, but then I always find it's the same kind of thing with wool. Like, this feels really nice to my fingers, but if I put it on my body, it can make my body itch. So it's going to be really interesting to see if this dress is actually wearable when I'm finished. I hope it will be, but it's not the end of the world if it's not, because as I say, this is always destined to be wearable muslin fodder. None of these fabrics were expensive, and I have some beautiful viscose from Alexandria and from Australia that I'm going to be making the final garment out of. In fact, hang on. This one here, I have 10 meters of it, which is amazing, which is what the maxi dress needs. Focus on my camera is going all floopy then. What was I saying? Yes, this pattern, that pattern right there, does need 10 meters of fabric for the maxi dress. But as we've discussed, I think I'm going to do the midi dress with the rayon because I just think it will get worn more often. This is the wearable muslin version that I am using to make sure that I do really like the style as much as I think I will, to then cut into the precious fabric. I have sewn the beginnings of French seams on the skirt lining, so I'm going to get those finished, and then I'm going to start putting all of the skirt panels together, and there are many. There's a skirt front, side back, and back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 panels in total. Fun times.
Later.
Okay, I have almost finished my dress. I need to put buttons and buttonholes on the cuffs and I'm glad I lengthened the cuffs because they're just about the right length now. I also need to finish the waistline on the inside and hem it, but there is a lot on the bias, so I am going to wait to hem it. I think you can just about see here as well, I've got a little pin in the crossover at the front, and if I don't have that pin there, it's even more booby than it is now, but it fits really well. And I kind of like the sheerness of the sleeves. I have interlined the bodice and then lined the bodice. I really don't like the way that they have you line this dress. I think it's a bit daft, so I've done it a bit differently, which probably won't surprise any of you. And the cuffs on the sleeves, they want, rather than put a continuous lap in, they just want you to leave like the gap on the underarm seam, so they're a bit odd the way that they're falling, but you know what, that's fine. The skirt is giant and the underskirt is plenty big enough. I'm not sure I like it. I'm not sure I love it as much as I thought I was going to as a style. This fabric actually feels quite nice to wear. The rose skin that I have against my skin, whilst it is polyester, feels really, really nice and slippery and silky, and the polyester chiffon against my arms is not too bad. It's not giving me, it's not the same kind of skin crawly feeling as I was getting from that other polyester. I mean, it's an immense skirt, and I have got the sash on with it. Without the sash, I mean, it fits nicely. It does fit nicely. I'm not sure. I'm glad that I've made it in this fabric because I don't know if I want to use that viscose for this now. I might do something else with the viscose. I mean, it is a nice dress, don't get me wrong, but I'm not like super in love with it. But again, that might be because I have spent a long time making it, and I might be at stage kind of 4 of the, you know, the creative process. I'll have put a thing about what I mean up here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I am going to put a little stitch in here just to keep this front piece closed, because without it, it's just a little bit more booby. It's not bad, but it's also just that little bit more than I want to kind of show. So I'm going to try and put that pin back in the right place now without pricking myself a million times like I did last time. But yeah, I think just stitching that closed there is preferable to that just as open as it was. Am I standing on a pin? What am I standing on? No, not pinned. That's good. I mean, I probably would have noticed it a lot more painfully if it had been pinned. I love the colour of this fabric. I love the print of this fabric. I have a little bit left over, and I'm thinking maybe I should make another Evelyn top, one that I will maybe keep, because as I say, this doesn't feel as plastic against my skin as the other Evelyn that I made does, but this also doesn't press brilliantly, which I'm worried about the bias binding, because that needs to be really well done and crisp for that kind of top where it's visible. Yeah, like I say, this doesn't press brilliantly, so I don't want to kind of fuss with it, so I'm not sure. I might have enough to cut a skirt, which would be something that I would wear more often, and I'm thinking like maybe I should try a bias cut skirt in this, because again, that's a pattern that I have a lot of and that I haven't tried for a very long time. I don't know if a bias cut skirt will be flattering or not. Loads of you guys seem to think my cream skirt that I made and you saw in my lookbook was bias cut. It's not. It is cut on the straight of grain. It was just an A-line skirt, but I'm not sure if we were getting our wires crossed about what a bias cut skirt means. But yeah, that one is cut on the straight of grain with bias in the hem, and only a little bit of bias in the hem at the very side seams, but everything else is cut on the straight of grain. I don't know, I'm not sure about this. I'm not loving it as much as I thought I was going to. I do like it. I might feel very differently about this when I've fully finished it, but I'm not 100% sure, but I am going to fully finish it, and the hem, as I mentioned, does have some bias in it, so I'm going to let the hem drop, and I'm going to do a narrow rolled hem on my overlocker on this because, as I say, this doesn't press very well. I think trying to do a turned hem with lots of pressing and stitching in it would probably not end up working very well and could end up looking a bit like lumpy and bumpy, which I don't want. So I have some of this tealy blue colour overlocker thread, so I think I'm going to use that for the hem of the outer skirt, and then the inner skirt I can very easily hem because that's a much more straight line. There's very little bias in that, so I don't think that's going to drop at all. So I could hem that myself soon, which might help me with levelling the hem of this. I'm not 100% sure how I was going to do it. Usually I would lay it flat and measure from the waistband down to the hem, but that's on sort of like, that gets difficult on skirts that are about 30 inches, and this one's at least sort of 38, 39, if not 40 inches. So yeah, it does swish very nicely, very nicely, and I do like the sheerness of the sleeves. That is what I was going for and why I haven't interlined the sleeves. I don't know, I'm not sure. It's going to be interesting seeing this footage back again, and again I don't know if I'm going to get far enough back so I can actually see what it fully looks like. But I mean, it is just big and floaty, which is brilliant. I mean, it wants to be with the amount of fabric that's in this skirt. This is a fabric hungry beast. It does say it takes 10 meters, and I got it out of about 8. It's not quite as fabric hungry as I thought it was going to be. Here you go. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. I think I'm going to wear it with my hot pink shoes, although I do have some teal ones that could work. They're kind of metallic, so they'll work with the metallic threads that are in this fabric, which I think you can just about see there. Yeah, let me know what you think down below. I'm going to leave it for now. I don't know what the time is, but it's getting dark outside, although this is the longest night of the year, or the night after the longest night of the year. So I'm going to go back up to mine, do some editing, play with Chi, watch some Friends, and generally chill for the rest of the evening. And there is a little bit, like I say, of finishing to do, and I need to put some binding across the waistband because I can't finish that inside the lining. I can finish the back by hand sewing the lining down and enclosing the waistband there, and then the back seam I need to press it under and under again, the same way that I've done with the underarm sleeves here, because I can't French seam it because it's where the zip goes in. So I'm just going to turn it and turn it again so that they're all enclosed and look quite neat. And I've managed to, it took me a little while to work it out, but I also managed to work out so that I wouldn't have to attach the zip to the chiffon lining. So the zip is attached to the bodice lining and the skirt lining, but not to the chiffon lining. So hopefully it's not overly obvious and it doesn't look too bad. I don't think. I think it's all enclosed and you can't see any zipper tape, which you could if I had attached it to the outer, because it's a see-through fabric. Yes, anyway, that was a very long-winded way of trying to say goodnight to you all, wasn't it? So I hope you've enjoyed the last couple of days of me making this dress, and I will see you all very soon. Bye!